December 17, 1939, 6:47 a.m., the Kola River, eastern Finland. The thermometer reads -42 Celsius. The kind of cold that turns breath into ice crystals before they hit the ground. The kind of cold that makes metal burn skin on contact. A Soviet patrol, 17 men, moves through the white forest. Their boots crunch. Their equipment clanks. Their voices carry. They are part of the largest military force ever assembled on Finnish soil. 1 million soldiers, 6,000 tanks, 3,000 aircraft. They are invincible. They are also being watched, 400 meters away, buried in a snowdrift so perfectly camouflaged he is invisible even at 50 meters. A small man lies perfectly still. He is 5'3". He weighs 140 pounds. He is 34 years old. His name is Simo Häyhä. He is a farmer. And in the next 90 seconds, he is going to kill 5 of those 17 men without any of them ever seeing him. The first shot is a whisper, a sharp crack instantly swallowed by snow and distance. The Soviet soldier at the rear, a private carrying extra ammunition, simply drops. No scream, no warning, just gone. The lieutenant at the front turns. He sees nothing. 3 seconds pass. The second shot, the radio operator, walking point, crumples forward into the snow. Now the lieutenant knows. They are being hunted. Down! Get down! His voice cracks across the frozen air. The patrol scatters. Men dive behind trees, into snowbanks, anywhere. But there is no cover here, only white death. Crack. A sergeant trying to set up a machine gun slumps over his weapon. Crack. A soldier pointing frantically toward a tree line falls backward. Crack. The lieutenant himself, exposed for just 2 seconds, takes a round through the chest. 5 men. 90 seconds. The 12 survivors do not run. Running makes you a target. They lie frozen in the snow for 6 hours. Some pray, some weep. Some simply wait for the bullet they know is coming. When they finally crawl back to Soviet lines, their report makes no sense. No muzzle flash, no scope glint, no sound of movement. Just death from nowhere. They have encountered the Belaya Smirt, the White Death. What they don't know, what the entire Red Army is about to learn, is that this ghost is not a trained sniper. He is not a military specialist. He is a farmer who understands 3 simple things that the experts have overlooked. 3 modifications so basic, so counterintuitive, they will make him the deadliest individual combatant in human history. This is how one man's farmer logic killed 505 Soviet soldiers in 100 days. To understand the ghost, you first have to understand the nightmare he was born into. November 30th, 1939. Joseph Stalin looks at Finland and sees a problem. The border is too close to Leningrad. He needs buffer territory. He needs military bases. He demands Finland surrender its land, its sovereignty, its future. Finland, led by Marshal Mannerheim, refuses. Stalin is enraged. After staging a false flag operation, the shelling of Mainila, he unleashes hell. The Red Army crosses the border with numbers that defy comprehension. 1 million soldiers versus Finland's 300,000. 6,000 tanks versus 32. 3,000 aircraft versus 114. Time magazine writes Finland's obituary before the first shot is fired. Soviet political commissars tell their troops to pack dress uniforms for the victory parade in Helsinki. 2 weeks. That is all this war will last. But they have made the fatal mistake. They looked at numbers on a map and not at the map itself. They are invading in the deepest winter. They are invading a country that is 70% forest. And they are invading a people who have a word for what they are about to face. Sisu, not courage, not bravery, something colder. A stubborn refusal to yield. A determination that burns like frozen steel. The Finns cannot win a conventional war. So they will not fight one. They let the Soviet tanks come. then channel them onto frozen lakes and blow the ice with artillery. They let the massive infantry divisions crawl down narrow forest roads, then cut them into isolated pockets. Finnish ski troops, dressed in white, silent as snowfall, appear from the trees, destroy supply convoys, kill officers, and vanish. The Soviets call it Matti tactics. The Finns call it survival. The cold does the rest. At -40, tank engines freeze solid. Gun grease turns to concrete. Soviet soldiers in their brown-green uniforms stand out like targets at a shooting range. They freeze to death by the thousands, sometimes standing up, rifles frozen to their hands, eyes open and staring. This is the nightmare the Red Army has marched into. And at the Kola River, on the front line of this frozen hell, is a quiet farmer who is about to become a legend. Simo Häyhä is not a warrior. He is from Rautjärvi, a small town near the border. Before the war, his life was simple. Farm work, hunting, target competitions with the local civil guard. He was good with a rifle. Very good. He won competitions. But winning at paper targets and killing men are different universes. When the war starts, he is assigned to the 34th Infantry Regiment, 6th Company. They issue him a rifle, a Finnish M2830, a modified version of the Russian Mosin Nagant. Reliable, accurate, standard iron sights. His commanding officer offers him an upgrade, a new rifle with a state-of-the-art PE4 telescopic scope. Magnification. Clarity. Every sniper in every modern army wants a scope. Simo Häyhä refuses it. His officer stares at him. "You're turning down a scope?" "Yes, sir. Why?" "I don't need it. This is the first modification. The first break from doctrine." To his superiors, it looks like madness. To Simo, it is simple farmer's logic. He knows 3 things the military experts have not learned. First, a scope glints. The glass lens catches light. Even a tiny flash is visible for 500 meters in this white landscape. 1 glint equals 1 bullet. Iron sights, just black metal, never glint. Second, a scope fogs. Extreme cold plus the warmth of a human eye pressed against glass equals instant condensation. You raise your rifle, see only white fog, waste precious seconds wiping it. By then, the target is gone. Or worse, the target has seen you. Third, a scope forces you higher. To get a proper sight picture through a scope, you must raise your head several inches off the ground. In a flat, snow-covered field, those few inches are the difference between hunter and hunted. Simo keeps his iron sights. His kill zone is 150 to 400 meters. He has been shooting pine cones and fox ears on his farm since childhood. He does not need magnification. He needs reliability. But this is only his first trick. The others are even simpler, even more brilliant. The Red Army learns quickly. Their own snipers start hunting for Finnish snipers. They look for 2 telltale signs. Sign 1, muzzle blast. When a high-powered rifle fires, the explosion kicks up snow in front of the barrel, a small poof of white powder. To a trained counter-sniper, it is a massive shoot here sign visible from 600 meters. Simo's solution is pure farmer ingenuity. He does not just find a shooting position, he engineers it. Before every hunt, he spends an hour packing down the snow in front of his rifle. Then he pours water on it. At -40, it freezes in minutes into a solid block of ice. When he fires, the ice block absorbs the entire muzzle blast. The snow does not move. There is no poof, only silence. Sign 2, breath fog. At -40, human breath hangs in the air like smoke signals. A sniper, lying in wait, breathing heavily from tension or cold, might as well be waving a flag. Simo's solution is so simple, it is genius. He keeps his mouth full of snow, not a little bit, a packed ball under his tongue. It cools his breath inside his body. When he exhales, The air is already the same temperature as the outside. No fog, no cloud, no signal. Think about what this means. An enemy sniper scans the horizon with his high-powered scope. He is looking for a head raised too high. He is looking for muzzle blast. He is looking for breath fog. Simo Häyhä has none of it. No scope to glint. Head lower than iron sight users. Muzzle blast absorbed by ice. Breath invisible. He is, functionally, a ghost. He has used farmer's logic, the logic of a man who lives with cold, to become a perfect invisible killing machine. Now he goes hunting. His routine is brutal. Wake before dawn. Pack white bread and sugar. Put on layers of white camouflage. Grab his M2830 rifle, his Suomi KP-31 submachine gun, and his skis. Tell his unit, I'm going hunting. He skis alone into no man's land. Often behind Soviet lines, he finds his spot, a gentle rise, a fallen log, a natural depression. He builds his nest, packs the ice block, puts snow in his mouth, and waits. The cold sinks into bones. Most men would shiver. Shivering ruins a shot. But Simo has sisu. He becomes part of the snow. He is the winter, then a target. A Soviet officer reading a map. 300 meters. Crack. A machine gun team setting up. 250 meters. Crack. Crack. A soldier running for cover. 350 meters. Crack. He never fires twice from the same spot. He shoots, then uses his skis to glide 100 meters, finds a new position, shoots again. The Soviets blast his old position with artillery, killing nothing but trees. Simo is already engaging them from their flank. At day's end, he skis back to finish lines. His commanding officer asks for the count. Simo, a man of few words, just replies, 5. Next day, 8. Next day, 12. The officers do not believe it. 12 kills in one day? Impossible. The doctrine says sniping is patient work. 1 or 2 kills maximum. So they send an observer. The observer returns at day's end, face pale, shaking. He confirms every single kill. The farmer is not lying. December 21st, 1939. Simo kills 25 Soviet soldiers. December 22nd, 23 kills. Christmas Day, 1939. While Red Army Command drinks vodka, Simo goes hunting. His tally for the day, 38 16 8 confirmed kills. This is not war. This is extermination. The psychological effect is immediate and devastating. Soviet soldiers at Kola start displaying behaviors that military psychologists will later study as extreme combat stress. They refuse to leave dugouts. They refuse to light fires for warmth. Fires draw the White Death. Officers who must move between positions do so at night, crawling, taking hours to cover 200 meters. We know this not from Finnish propaganda, but from captured Soviet diaries. A soldier named Pavel in the 75th Rifle Division writes home, "Mother, this is not war. This is hell. We do not fear the Finns. We fear the silence. In our doctrine, silence means peace. Here, silence means he is watching. When the artillery stops, our hearts stop with it. We know he is out there." Pavel describes the unwritten rules of survival on the Kola front. Rule 1. Never light a fire. The ghost watches flames. Men who seek warmth die warm. Rule 2. Never run to help a wounded man. When someone cries out, it is bait. The White Death watches the body, waiting for the medic, waiting for a friend. We leave our comrades to die, or die with them. Rule 3. Never group up, but never walk alone. Both are death. Pavel's final line. I am not afraid of dying. I am afraid of waiting to die. This is Simo's true weapon. Not the rifle, the fear. He has become an invisible force of nature. Not a man, but winter itself, made lethal. Soviet High Command cannot tolerate this. Reports of the Belaya Smirt reach all the way to Moscow, to Stalin's inner circle. Their deep battle doctrine, their millions of men and thousands of tanks, is being paralyzed by one farmer with an old rifle. The order comes down: forget strategic objectives. Priority 1. Find and kill the Finnish farmer. They send their best snipers, elite graduates from Moscow Sniper School, men with brand-new scoped rifles. Simo hunts them. Their scopes glint. From 400 meters, he puts iron sight rounds through their glass and through their eyes. One by one, they die. The Soviets escalate. If snipers cannot kill him, artillery will. New tactic. Anytime a soldier dies from a single shot, the entire sector gets carpet-bombed. Hundreds of shells. One day, Simo's position takes over 100 direct hits. The forest around him is shredded. Ground turned to black mush. His commanding officer writes him off as dead. An hour later, Simo walks back to the dugout. White uniform torn, a few shrapnel wounds. He nods to his CO. They were loud today. Then he goes back out. Late February 1940. The Red Army is desperate. They assemble a special unit, an entire counter-sniper platoon, 30 of their best shooters, machine gun support. One mission: hunt the White Death. Do not return until he is dead. The platoon moves into the forest at dawn. 30 elite killers scanning trees with SVT-40 scoped rifles glinting in weak sunlight. They are hunters. They are confident. Simo is 400 meters away, buried in a snowdrift, watching them. He has been waiting 6 hours. He lets the first 10 pass. Lets the machine gun team pass. Then aims for the man at the very back, the radio operator. Crack. The sound is gone before the platoon leader registers it. Radio man falls. The platoon dives for cover. Machine guns firing blindly at trees. They are shooting at ghosts. While they fire, Simo is already gone. He skis silently 300 meters to their flank, to a pre-prepared position he built yesterday. The Soviet lieutenant, thinking the sniper fled, motions his men forward. Crack. The lieutenant falls. The shot came from their left. Panic. 28 men. No leader, no radio, trapped in a frozen forest. Night falls. Temperature drops to -35. They need fire. Their training says no. Their bodies scream yes. 6 men huddle together, trying to light a small fire. It is the last mistake they make. Simo emerges from trees 200 meters away with his Suomi KP-31 submachine gun. He empties a 71-round drum into the huddle. 10 seconds. 6 dead. The rest of the platoon breaks. They run into darkness, into forest, into cold. Simo does not chase. He does not need to. The forest takes them. Next morning, Finnish patrols find 27 bodies. The elite counter-sniper platoon is gone. March 6, 1940. Day 100 of the war. The Soviets are launching their final all-out offensive at Kola. Simo is in position, as he is every day. But this is not a quiet hunt. This is a full-scale battle. He fires as fast as he can, reloading, firing again. He has already killed several men this morning. The Soviets know roughly where he is. They have been pounding his sector with mortars all morning. And in the chaos, a single Soviet soldier, a counter-sniper whose name history will never record, gets lucky. He fires an explosive round. Simo Häyhä is lining up his next shot when the bullet hits him directly in the face. The impact is catastrophic. He does not feel pain, just a thump, then cold. His vision goes white. His mouth fills with hot liquid and broken teeth. He tries to breathe. Cannot. The bullet entered his left cheek and exploded inside his mouth. It shattered his upper and lower jaw, tore off his cheek, destroyed the entire left side of his face. He falls into snow, unconscious, bleeding out. Fellow soldiers race to his position, expecting to find a body. What they find is nightmare. One soldier later says, half his head was missing. They pick up his body. No breathing, no pulse. The White Death is dead. They drag him to the rear, to a pile of other fallen Finns. A makeshift morgue. The ghost is finally gone. A week later, a soldier passing the corpse pile sees a leg twitch. He stops, looks closer. The man with the missing face is alive. Simo Häyhä is not dead. He is rushed to a field hospital. The war ends days later, March 13, 1940. Simo is unconscious for the peace treaty. Unconscious when guns fall silent. The Kola front, despite everything, never broke. On paper, Finland lost. They signed the Moscow Peace Treaty, gave up 11% of territory. But the Red Army was humiliated. Stalin's 2-week victory parade turned into a 105-day nightmare. The invincible Red Army suffered over 126,000 dead, over 2,600 tanks destroyed. And they were terrorized, paralyzed, psychologically broken by one man, a 5'3" farmer with an old rifle. Here is the ripple effect. Adolf Hitler watched. In Berlin, he watched the Red Army's pathetic performance in Finland. He saw an army poorly led, poorly equipped, terrified of ghosts in snow. The terror Simo Häyhä inflicted helped convince Hitler that the Soviet Union was a rotten structure that would collapse with one hard kick. A year later, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa. Many historians argue, if the Red Army had not looked so weak in Finland, if men like Simo had not exposed every flaw, Hitler might never have invaded. The 505 men Simo killed were just the beginning. The fear he created changed history. Simo spent 14 months in hospitals, 26 agonizing surgeries. They rebuilt his face from bone taken from his hip and skin from his thigh. When he finally emerged, the left side of his face was permanently scarred. The White Death now carried the war's mark on his own face. Marshal Mannerheim himself promoted him and awarded him the Cross of Kola. When war with Russia resumed in 1941, the continuation war, Simo tried to rejoin. He was refused, too broken to fight. So what happens to the deadliest soldier in the world when war ends? What happens to the ghost when snow melts? Simo Häyhä went home. He was given a small farm, his old one now in Soviet territory. He spent the next 50 years doing exactly what he did before the war. He bred hunting dogs, became one of Finland's most successful moose hunters. His skill, his sisu, never left him. He was a quiet man, humble. He rarely spoke of the war. When reporters found him decades later and asked how he became the White Death, he would shrug. When they asked if he felt remorse for killing over 500 men, his reply was pure cold farmer's logic. I did what I was told to do, and I did it as well as I could. In 1998, a journalist asked the secret to his success. Simo, age 92, gave a one-word answer: practice. Simo Häyhä died in 2002 at age 96. He was buried in Ruokolahti, a quiet hero in the land he saved. He remains to this day the deadliest sniper in human history. Here is what the story means. Wars are not won only by grand strategies or massive armies. They are won by individuals who see what experts miss, by mechanics who break regulations, by farmers who use cold itself as a weapon. Simo Häyhä refused a scope because scopes glint. He packed ice blocks because snow betrays position. He kept snow in his mouth because breath fogs. 3 simple modifications: farmer's logic, and 505 Soviet soldiers never saw him coming. The ghost in white, the silent hunter, the man who held an empire at bay for 100 days with iron sights and sisu, the White Death.